What are we going to do for our intro? I don't have a jam.
I'm recording now. It's okay.
Okay. Well, we just missed our plastic cheers.
We can do it again here.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Hello and welcome. We are the Ladies of Strange. I'm Ashley.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Rebecca.
Thank you for joining us each Thursday as we discuss
The history, mystery, and theory
Of all things questionable, odd, and eerie.
Oh, yeah.
Take it over, Rebecca. Your first episode.
Oh my God. There's so much pressure. I was very nervous for this because I didn't know how much to research or not research.
You always over-research.
So I just went for it.
Go
Unless
for it.
you're Tiffany.
Yeah.
Well, I
and
think
then
we'd-
Tiffany just kind of flies by the seat of her pants. Miss Wildcard over here.
It was a wild
Just call
card.
me Charlie Day. Ooh, ooh. Always sunny in
Yeah,
Philadelphia.
you made that one before and I didn't get it then either.
It's your problem.
Alrighty, poisons. What are y'all's poisons for this week?
Are you going to introduce somebody so they know who they're...
All right, I'll go first. Okay, my poison is I recently found an album called The Click by AJR, and I don't know what it is about this album, but I have not been able to stop listening to it.
Excellent. What kind of music? What kind of vibe?
It's very upbeat, a lot of it's very technical, poppy, very, very happy. It's just like everything about it right now. Like I sent y'all the link. It's just like everything about the entire album right now is just how I feel in my life as a whole. So,
Okay.
Oh, yay.
so
Good.
I've just been listening to it nonstop.
So is that kind of like your mental health check-in too? You doing good?
yeah,
Happy.
I'm doing good. It's just I really like the album way too much. I listened to it like 12 times last week. It's fine.
Well, I am all caught up on all my podcasts that I'm listening to, so I will start
Yay.
listening to that.
That's
Yeah.
the album, but yes.
Well, yes, but now that I don't have something that I
Yeah.
have to binge listen because I can't leave anything unlistened to.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's a good poison. Ashley, what is your poison this week?
Mine's musical too. Mine has been the Dear Evan Hansen soundtrack.
I don't even know what that is.
To be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know much about the story. It came across, Spotify did the recommended, put together a playlist for you. And it was of Alan Rickman, but that's not right.
That'd be
Okay, Snape.
too much.
Right?
That'd be too much for us to handle. That'd just be way too amazing.
Right. Alan Menken, Menken. He's done a lot of music for Disney productions, and he also did Rent and everything along those lines. So based on, listening to Beauty and the Beast and Rent and Newsies, that one came across.
Can't imagine why that was in your Discover Weekly.
Right? I have no idea where that would have come from. And there's a song on there called So Big, So Small. And I had to step away from my desk when it played because I lost it.
Aw.
So of course I fell in love with it so much that I started listening to the soundtrack. And I think I've kind of picked up on what the story's about based on the music, but I need to kind of look into it a little more to see what it's about. But the music alone is amazing, and I've heard it's going to be at the Fox next year, so I think that's going to be on my bucket list for 2019.
I like it. Very nice.
Tiffany, your poison this week?
My poison this week is happy as well. I am out of my funk. I'm feeling good about life. My new job's going well. My child is teething, but she's past the point of staying awake all the time, and the teething poops, which are great. We're past all that.
Wait, there's teething poops?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So when they teeth, there's all this extra saliva, and it upsets their stomach, and it makes the poop just ugh,
And they generally run a
monstrosity.
fever when they're
Yes.
teething, so it's
I
a whole shebang with the body.
I swear, I've learned more being friends with y'all than any biology class I have ever taken.
Right, and this is why Tiffany and I said numerous times that we want to do an episode on being, or probably multiple episodes on motherhood, because you're probably not the only one that hasn't heard the real side of it.
There's so many, I don't want to say gross because that's the wrong term for it, but
it's true.
But there's so many things people just don't talk about and aren't mentally prepared for. And then you tell me, a person who owns one cat and who loves her cat, that teething poops are a thing. Suddenly litter boxes aren't bad. They're fantastic.
My daughter went through in one day at daycare. She's there from 7 until 5. she went through 7 outfits because she kept having blowouts.
Did you just like pack her entire wardrobe?
Oh, you have extra outfits there for blowouts, but
Yeah.
they had to pull from their reserve, and I brought like 10 outfits for her to have the next day. She went through 6, and then it calmed down and she's back to normal.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
See, this would needs to be like legit birth control because, yeah, they tell you about the technical scientific things that go along with it. But
Yeah.
if I knew some of the stuff that I know now as a mom when I was a kid,
Yeah,
my
I'm-
legs would have been taped shut.
I'm terrified.
But people say it, and I always rolled my eyes at it. It's worth it.
It's so worth it. And when it's your kid, it doesn't even.
I mean, both of your kids are adorable, but my
Thanks.
cat never had to wear diapers. So
True.
No, you just had to scoop their shit out of sand.
I have had more.
I'm okay with that.
I've had more poop on my fingers this week than I
Right.
cared to admit.
Yeah, you should have seen me trying to change Dominic's diaper in a like folding chair at the Speedway last night.
Oh my god.
I say that I should have gotten a mom medal for that one because I was totally worried about people seeing me. Okay, little side note, they don't have changing tables, so I didn't have very many options. And also walking upstairs concrete steps with a toddler just wasn't looking very appealing to me. And changing a poopy diaper and a folding lawn chair, yeah, I went through like 6 wipes just on my hands
Yeah.
after.
So it's fun. Parenting's awesome.
So we lost all the guys who were listening to this podcast.
No, there are some amazing fathers out there that know exactly what we're talking about.
Okay,
Yes. So happiness is my poison this week.
good. Happiness
good
is covered
poison.
in poop.
Yes. Before being a parent, I didn't think that was possible.
Drool and poop.
But drool and poop have become my new perfume, and I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Welcome to being trapped in a room with me. Hey.
Hey, doesn't she smell lovely?
The wine's really good today. Not that I just drank half of the glass in this 2-minute conversation.
To be
It's
fair,
fine.
you poured baby glasses,
They are.
but we are working on
still-
moderation.
There's still a lot of it left, and I didn't want to
Have
I
a
don't know what
repeat.
I was thinking.
You didn't want to have a repeat of our first
Well,
time recording.
We don't,
Our first time
we don't
recording
have to speak of that.
was amazeballs. Okay.
This will be my last time mentioning it. I
No
promise.
That's not true.
lies in this 2-minute span.
Okay, are you guys ready
I'm
for my
so
first
ready.
story?
I have no clue what you're going to talk
No
about,
idea.
and I'm pumped.
Have you guys heard of Dr. James Barry?
No.
Perfect. Okay, this is going better than planned. Here we go. Okay, so Dr. James Miranda Stewart Barry was born around 1790 in County Cork Island. That was one interesting thing I found was that I couldn't pinpoint the exact year he was born because multiple sources said like 1785, 1790. So I just said around to cover all my bases.
Yeah.
I
I like that he has 4 names and he's from Ireland, and this is in the 1700s.
Yes.
What was it? James Meredith Sassy Brandy? Was he the first drag queen?
That's exactly right.
No, for real. What was the full name again?
James Miranda Stewart Barry.
I was close.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Did you mean that as a pun?
Very. Very nice.
Very nice.
This is already going better than I expected. Okay. Okay, he dreamed of becoming a doctor and moved to Edinburgh in 1809 to enroll in the medical school. So he was about around 19, depending on which year you think he was born. But the thing about him is he was very small statured with a high voice that caused people to suspect that he was too young for medical school.
That he was the first drag queen.
Yes. I like him.
Yeah, so multiple sources said like he was young, he was feminine looking, high voice. People thought there was like this 10-year-old enrolling into medical school. So because of this, he eventually got into medical school, but he almost wasn't allowed to sit for his final examinations.
What?
If it wasn't for Lord,
Farquaad.
no, it's not Farquaad. It's like I think I want to pronounce it Erskine. Please don't murder me if that's not pronounced correctly. I did not think to Google that first, but Lord Erskine intervened, so he was able to sit for his examinations.
Okay.
Go
So
Lord
wait, there he
Erskine.
got all the way through. Is this like his first year? And then at the finals, for some reason, they were like,
I didn't look into how it worked in the 1800s because that would have been a giant rabbit hole. But basically, if he wasn't able to take these, he wouldn't be able to become a doctor. And they didn't want him to take them because he looked so young, and they
Okay.
thought he was posing as someone much older than he was.
Okay.
Got it.
rude.
Okay.
There's going to be no Doogie Howser in Ireland.
Doogie.
Doogie. Sorry.
Okay. Because of this, wrong line. He received his degree in medicine at 22 and then enlisted as an assistant surgeon in the British Army. And he officially started his military career on July 6, 1813.
He's sounding very similar to Mr. Kevorkian.
Ooh.
I like that noise you made there. That was
Well, that's
intriguing.
my non-committal. It's totally not related noise.
Yay.
Well, he was quickly promoted to assistant staff surgeon, which is, from what I understand, equivalent to a lieutenant in the Army.
Okay.
I have no idea how promotions work in the Army. Just disclaimer.
You got me.
He was first sent to Cape Town, South Africa, and he spent 10 years there, during which he befriended Lord Charles Somerset.
What is with all these lords?
This is
It's
the
early 1800s.
Where my ladies at?
British Army, early 1800s.
Where my ladies at?
We'll get to that. We will get to that. Okay. Anyway, Dr. Barry, the story I was able to get from multiple sources, said that he treated Lord Somerset's daughter. I couldn't figure out for what, but the two quickly became very close friends, and Dr. Barry was considered a friend of the family.
Okay.
They started a deep friendship, and eventually Barry became Somerset's personal physician.
Interesting.
There's at one point Barry did move into one of the private apartments at Somerset's residence. Because of this caused rumors about the nature of their friendship that escalated to the point that commissions were set up to investigate the scandal, but both were later exonerated. So commissions are set up to investigate a matter of urgent or public concern.
Okay.
They are less expensive and have less power than like a tribunal or inquiry, but they may take evidence in private where tribunals are held in public.
So how old is this daughter for them to be concerned?
Yeah,
'Cause,
like what has raised such a big concern for them that this lord wants to... I mean, that sounds reasonable to me that somebody with that much power would want him for their own.
Well, it wasn't so much the fact that they were friends, it's just like how close the friendship was. You got to remember, this is the early 1800s. The fact that his personal physician not only became very close friends with him, but also moved in with him to his estate, caused a lot of people to go, oh, what's really going on here? This is interesting.
I thought this was because he was becoming friends with the daughter.
No. This is
okay.
between Barry and Lord Somerset.
Okay.
They think they're starting a relationship.
Got it. Okay.
And this is one very, very funny thing I found about when all the rumors were circulating. During the rumors, an anonymous accuser hung a poster stating that Somerset was buggering Dr. Barry.
Buggering?
Ooh.
Oh.
I don't know why it said buggering. There's other words, but I thought you guys would find that funny.
Is
I'm
that, like-
adding that to my vocabulary.
Right. Hey, baby. You want to go bugger? I'll see how that works tonight. I'll report back to you guys.
My husband's going to hate me.
We get like a text, I'm going to try it. 2 seconds later, nope.
Nope. Having Oreos on the couch by myself.
Yeah, please let us know how that
I
goes.
will. I'll have to practice my British accent before I use it, though, because I have a feeling it'll sound much better with an accent.
Yes.
Okay, going back to the whole reason that they weren't sure about him in med school, part of the reasons rumors spread about Dr. Barry and Lord Somerset was because Dr. Barry had a high, unbroken voice, smooth skin, short stature, and overall looked young and boyish.
Oh, so they thought that the Lord was like creeping on a little boy.
Well, it's not only that. They're worried about the nature of their relationship, but they also still think Dr. Barry is very, very young.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Dr. Barry, however, compensated for this. He was known for having a very hot and short temper. Why are you laughing?
I was just thinking of ways that he could compensate for people thinking he was a young boy.
Okay, jacked Ford trucks were not a thing in the early 1800s.
I was thinking more of, which kind of relates to the jacked Ford trucks, but that's saying that they have a small stature.
He overcompensated.
With an overcompensated large stature.
Nasty little bugger.
So he had a hot and short temper to overcompensate for this. He even had some incidents where he threw medicine bottles at people, and he even participated in 2 separate duels.
Dang.
What, duels?
Duels, like with guns,
Did
where
he slap him with a glove?
I hope so. I could not find anything on that. I just know that like he participated in 2 of them, and obviously they ended in his favor.
So it's like a Napoleon complex.
Pretty
Tiny man, big
pretty much.
attitude.
I like it.
Pretty much. He was so unpopular that Florence Nightingale once wrote, "He behaved like a brute, the most hardened creature I ever met throughout the army."
Oh, ever.
Dang. And
In
to
the
be
army.
in the army.
In the 1800s.
Yeah, to be the most hardened. thing.
Exactly.
Get it, boy.
Yeah, he was also known for swearing like a trooper, and he was also known for being a ladies' man.
I mean, same.
Yeah.
but minus the whole doctor part.
Yeah, there are many resources where he was known for being very, very flirtatious with the ladies, no matter where he was, to the point that other married men were going, "What gives, bro? Stop it."
I feel like he's describing me and Ashley.
Right? Sorry. Not sorry.
No.
Okay.
Come at me. Hey.
Please. That's the whole point behind this flirtatiousness.
Except I'm married.
Yeah, let me know how the buggering goes. In 1826, while still in Cape Town, he was one of the first to successfully perform a C-section where both the mother and child survived.
Oh, you go,
kudos.
Glen Coco.
Yeah, I thought that was very cool. So during this time, you got to remember germ theory. I don't remember when germ theory was started, but this was during a time where cleanliness was not exactly a thing. So
Yeah.
people would, at this time, if I remember correctly, one reason death rates of births were so high were because people would go from like dissecting cadavers straight into delivering a baby.
Oh.
So the fact that he was able to pull this off,
Yeah. No, that's
Kudos to
pretty
him.
Yeah.
Impressive.
where did I go? The reason and other reasons that this was very impressive, I found sources that say the procedure was done on a kitchen table.
I've seen that in a lot of movies for that era.
Yeah, I'm like, was that the only available flat surface? Like, why a kitchen table?
I don't know, but
Well,
maybe you want to be like close to the source of water.
Well,
and
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think back then they didn't really have like birthing centers, and if they needed her like up to where he could access everything going on, that's probably the best
Yeah,
place to do it.
Yeah.
cool.
And the final thing to remember about this was a time before anesthetics and antiseptics were a thing. So this was done without any outside help.
Kudos to that mom.
Yeah, right?
Nope. Okay, good for her.
Yeah.
I mean that whole era. Okay.
Yeah, I was about
Everybody.
to
Yeah, so
before
not only did
all
he
that came around.
do it successfully, but the mom was able to, survive it, and both the baby did too.
say. That's
So
amazing.
huge props for him.
Right?
Kudos.
Because of this, Barry was known for being a very skilled surgeon, the C-section being the most impressive example. And something really cool I found out about him was he was also dedicated to social reform in general, improving sanitary conditions wherever he went, and mismanagement of barracks, prisons, and asylums. So no matter where he went, he was a huge fan of making lives better for no matter who you were, what status you were, what you did.
Okay.
Oh man, is this gonna be another
I
thing
was
where
about
I'm
to-
like, I'm not gonna like this guy, but I like him so far, and then I end up liking him?
I'll let y'all decide.
Oh
I was
man,
just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like I'm starting to feel like Tiffany with Dr. Kevorkian. I was like, you know what? You go, boy. And then I'm like, wait a second. I'm going to keep that thought to myself until I hear
Yeah.
more of this story.
So he treated everybody, rich or poor, colonists or slaves. And unfortunately, on July 25th, 1865, at the age of 70, Dr. Barry died of dysentery.
Oh.
It was at this point, while preparing his body for burial, it was discovered he was a woman.
Yes!
Oh, original drag queen.
Drag King!
You go, Glen Coco.
Yeah, this was all because one of his final wishes of being buried was he was going to be buried in the clothes he died in.
Okay.
So this was obviously a secret that he wanted to stay a secret.
Oh, he didn't want anybody to.
And something that was said when when they were preparing the body was he had perfect female anatomy, and he even had stretch marks that indicated that he had given birth at some point in his life.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Which brings us to Margaret Ann Buckley,
Oh, I'm so excited.
who was the sister of James Barry, a famous artist and professor of painting at London's Royal Academy, who died in 1806.
Oh, so
man.
Margaret took over. Oh.
Yeah. So this all ties together.
I'm so excited.
As far as the pregnancy goes, it is believed that childhood sexual assault was the reason for it. Unfortunately, I found one source that it was at the cause of an uncle, but that was the only source I could find, and I didn't really want to go digging into
Yeah.
that. So basically, she gave birth to a girl named Juliana, and she was raised by Margaret's mother. So they basically passed her off as Margaret Ann Buckley's sister.
Okay.
Got it.
After James Barry died in 1809, Margaret no longer existed. This was because she had a huge interest in becoming a doctor, and at the time, you could not become a doctor if you are a woman. It was impossible due to social stigma.
Blech.
So, using 3-inch high shoe inserts and an overcoat, she enrolled in medical school as James Barry.
You go, girl.
Yes.
Yeah. When she was 19, Barry wrote, "Was I not a girl, I would be a soldier."
Ooh.
And guess what she did?
She became a soldier.
Yeah.
Yay!
A kick-ass soldier nonetheless. Like, what didn't you say that
Yeah,
they were
she
one
was-
of the most high-ranking?
Yeah, she was one of the most high ranking. She was one of the most skilled surgeons at the time.
Wait a second. Did the Lord know?
We don't know.
Oh, I like this story, Rebecca.
I will cover that.
Oh,
I will get to
yes.
this. Okay. It has been suggested that Barry and Somerset's relationship was more than just a friendship, but there is no evidence on whether or not this is true.
Okay.
Especially since, Barry's identity was kept a secret for so long. Even after he died and sort of the rumor was let out, the British Army did everything they could to keep the
cover it.
story buried.
Okay.
So a lot of the information that might have been available is just not available.
Right.
So if the Lord knew and they did have a relationship, I'm very proud of him for keeping it under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
If he didn't, then good for him for being his friend.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Exactly.
Beep, boop,
Through-
bop.
Throughout his life, he never allowed anyone in the room while he was undressing.
Understandably.
There's also, as all people, as you go through life, you're gonna get sick.
Right.
So one of the events that happened after Barry died was Barry's physician was accused of not being a very good doctor for not noticing Barry was a woman.
I could see
Yeah.
that. But
There's a reason for this. This is one record I found was of another doctor treating Barry for a chest infection in Canada, and that the room was always dark when he was examined.
Weird. But still, I mean, did they, like, remove
I
their...
mean,
See,
not
that's the thing. I don't know. I couldn't find any information on how much he undressed. Like,
Yeah.
that, and not every female has
Ample breasts.
ample bosoms.
yeah,
There are some conditions that leave you looking extremely flat.
yeah.
So
But they said that when they died, that they had a perfect female form.
Yeah.
oh,
So that
I
makes
forgot
me
about that.
interested in, like, what kind of form are we working with here?
So
And-
she might have been binding.
but I just have questions.
But
Sorry.
Well,
I'm just
the thing,
intrigued.
like in the early 1800s, there's still so many advancements being done in medicine that
That's true.
they don't have, like, how when we go to the doctor now, you strip down, you put on a gown, and they basically check you all over.
Right.
They're looking, they're touching, they're listening, and those are all practices that weren't necessarily practiced in the 1800s.
That's
something
true.
that came much later.
Got it.
Other than the rumors with Somerset, I could not find any information on relationships Barry had. Barry was reported to be positively a woman, so he was probably not a hermaphrodite, which is a theory some people had where he was just naturally born with both.
Right.
But there's no evidence of that. There's just evidence of him absolutely being a Mormon.
Worman.
Sorry. A woman. And there are theories of Barry being intersex. But again, many have argued against this due to lack of evidence.
Okay.
All right.
As far as the British Army is concerned, concealment of one's sex for 40 years in the British Army is simply unbelievable.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
I mean, that's pretty cool, though.
No, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm so proud of Barry. You go, Barry.
So there's one book I found while doing my research that I really want to buy and read through. It's called Dr. James Barry, A Woman Ahead of Her Time. And it just goes through what information they have about what he did as a doctor and what happened before
Yeah.
he became a doctor and after he became a doctor. And the reason this is so interesting to me is because from everything I could see, it very much stemmed from a woman wanting to do something a man
Right.
could. It wasn't because she wanted to, say, be a man or any other sort
It's
of...
like a Mulan.
Exactly like that.
That's fantastic.
That's
I really like that.
amazing.
Hmm.
And it's not even necessarily a drag persona or a trans situation. It's just going back to equality back in the 1800s, or lack of equality
Yeah.
back in the 1800s.
And that's something I tried to find to see if there is, like, maybe any mention of Dr. James Barry having any other relationships outside
Right.
of Somerset, if that was a relationship, but I literally couldn't find anything. So any close friends he had either didn't know or didn't reveal it.
That's amazing.
That is so cool.
I just, for the sake of, like, there being good people, I'm going to say they knew and didn't reveal it. That's what I'm going to leave myself to believe.
I
Yeah,
like that a
exactly. And
lot.
he's such a gifted surgeon
Right.
that, like, we would have been set way back if he wasn't allowed to practice.
Well, and that's interesting, too, knowing that, and this is a weird one, I don't know what pronoun to use for them.
See,
so
that's
I'm just
another
gonna
thing
say
I ran
them.
into. I'm like, that's why I started looking into the history of, like, if there's anything beforehand, is there
Right.
anything afterward, is there any evidence of him being trans at all? And there's not.
Nothing that you can find. See, that's
Yeah.
what makes me wonder if it's she, but they put on a male persona. So I'm just going to use they and them just to make sure that they're left in, they rest in peace and they're referred to properly.
Yeah.
Like it.
But that kind of goes back to the C-section, because as a female, and probably at this point have gone through delivery, it kind of goes back to them knowing what to expect and knowing what to go through. And that could be a big portion why they were able to perform the first.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If she's gone through, if Margaret went through a birth, that means Barry, who used to be Margaret, would be familiar with what actually goes on. Well, to an extent.
Absolutely.
But he would definitely be more familiar with it than any man would be.
Right.
Which might have helped play into why he was able to keep both mom and baby.
That's amazing.
I like that a lot.
That's
You
fascinating.
go, Barry.
Rebecca, that was amazing.
So that was my very short history in Dr. James Barry.
Yeah, we
I
need
like
more
him.
information on them because this is amazing.
Yeah, that was one thing. Like, I wanted to focus. If you guys want to look this up, feel free to. There's a lot of information on his very decorated military career and what he's done for us, especially for as far as sanitary and mismanagement of prisons, asylums, what have you. But as far as like before he became Dr. James Barry and what happened afterwards, there's not a whole lot of information.
So I like that. I was having a hard time placing the time, even though you told us, because I'm very forgetful. But I like that you said they knew Florence Nightingale, because she was also a big pioneer of making sure,
But
like, social
Florence
reform and all.
Nightingale obviously didn't care for them because she said that they were the most
But
hardened.
think about it. If you had to put up a front of being a man to make it in the military and to make it as a doctor, like, you would probably overdo it.
Right.
To
Especially at that
compensate.
time.
Exactly.
It's like, and on top of that, from what I've read, it sounded like she was a naturally like small statured woman to begin with, which is why, like, even if she wasn't small statured, she would probably still be wearing 3-inch inserts.
Right. Yeah. I was about to say, you said that they wore inserts and they still were considered a small statured. So they must have had like a, small frame and very tiny.
Oh, I like that.
That's amazing.
And they almost didn't get their medical license, even pretending to be a male. That's cool.
Yeah.
Could you imagine being a girl and like successfully pulling off being passed off as a man, and then they're like, "Oh, you look really young. We're not going to give this to you."
See, and it sucks that the British generals felt like they had to keep it a secret once they found out that she was naturally a female, because like, I would have blasted that all over the place and just been like, "Ha ha, fuckers."
But this is also at a different time, unfortunately, where you just didn't talk about those type of things.
Yeah, I understand. That's what I'm saying. That's unfortunate that it was then, because it did get kind of brushed under the rug, and that's probably why a lot of people don't know about them and what
I've
they
never
did.
heard of them.
Yeah.
That's really
incredible.
cool.
Now I'm interested. I want to go up and look up like the history of the C-section and see if James Barry is actually mentioned there.
All I can really think is, like, I fortunately did not have to have one, but I've heard the recovery for those is intense.
Miserable.
That's why they give you an extra 2 weeks of
Right.
maternity leave for it. And to go through all of that or perform all of that without any kind of anesthetic,
Yep.
ooh, kudos.
Yep, and they both survived. And a little bit of history on the C-section. There were successful C-sections before, but this was the first one where both mom and child lived.
Got it.
Yeah, I know, because I've heard stories of them basically just like
Sorry, Mom.
tearing the mom open just to get the baby, and she doesn't.
Yeah.
The baby doesn't make it.
It's one of those
Or
things
the
where
mom
it's like,
doesn't make it, rather.
Yeah,
if they tell you you're going to have a C-section, you make your peace and...
Yeah, basically.
pretty much.
And I mean, just women that died in labor and delivery back then alone, that rate was ridiculous.
Yeah.
So for them to be able to perform a C-section and everyone survived, that's incredible.
Yeah, and on top of that, one of my
Kudos.
favorite things I discovered about him was like it didn't matter who you were or what
Right.
where you were in life. He cared about your sanitary conditions. He cared about how you were taken care of, where you were.
Right. You said he cared for slaves, too. That's, like, unheard of back then to, like,
Right.
take the time to...
Yeah, like he didn't care how old, young, rich, poor, what your status was. He wanted you to be taken care of, and he wanted you to have the conditions that you needed to be healthy.
That's amazing.
Oh, you know what? You two, with your doctors that I thought I was going to hate, that I love. Man.
And that, they probably paved the way. Like I said, I want to look into the history of C-sections, but also sanitary conditions. They probably paved the way for so many different things coming from the situation that they did, because being a female that's having to pose as a male to get where you want to be in life probably played a large part in them wanting to assist the quote-unquote underdogs.
Not only posing, but doing it for decades successfully.
I wonder...
To the point that other men were intimidated by the fact that Dr. Barry, is flirting with their wives.
So do you think that they wore a sock?
Out of all the questions you have.
I'm just curious.
See,
I
honestly, I did not look into that.
So this makes
if
more
they-
sense when Ashley and I were like, "Oh, that's us. That's us." It really is. Ladies who flirt with ladies.
that's where my ladies are at.
Oh, that's right. I forgot we were coming back to where my lady's at.
She's right there.
Oh,
I'm right now
job.
Googling male attire in the early 1800s to see, because I know,
If
especially
she
for
needed a
women,
sock.
well,
Yeah.
especially for women, it was layers upon layers upon layers of clothing.
Yeah, but I don't think. I know that they wore much thicker outfits and
Yeah.
the materials available, but I feel like the war generals didn't because they had to have a little more flexibility and mobility. I feel like it was just like pants and then the double-breasted jacket.
Well, I mean, I don't know if anybody would ever ask about it because it's not like you're going into the battlefield and like peeping out everybody else's moose knuckles. Like,
Well, that's the thing.
I
Like
mean-
he wasn't in the battlefield. He was a surgeon.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they probably weren't in the public eye as much as.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I like you. I need to come up with a new like go Glen Coco, but like
Yeah, you
go
do.
James Berry. Shush your face.
Yeah, I knew this was going to be a shorter episode, but that was because I wanted to focus on the fact that he was able to pull it off. So if y'all are interested, you feel more than free to look into his career because he has an amazing career. Because I started taking notes and it got super, super long. And I'm like, okay, this is an amazing career, but this is not what I want to focus on for him.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
amazing.
Man,
That's
I
super
like
cool.
him. Oh, let's see. You go, JB.
There you go.
There we go.
Is that going to be your new like
we'll
snaps? Kudos.
We'll see.
We'll see if it sticks around.
I'll have a new one each
Well,
week.
they did. They stuck around for decades and killed it. So let's
Yes.
keep JB alive.
Yeah.
Keep JB alive.
That's amazing. Awesome job,
Kudos,
Rebecca.
man.
Oh, thank you.
Yay!
Okay, ladies.
I feel better. Okay.
I think we can all officially breathe sighs of relief. We have all recorded an episode now
And I hope y'all love them.
Cheers to that.
with our plastic glasses again. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, so this is real now, y'all. We're doing this.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to hear how many people have a problem with me saying y'all all the time.
Well, they have to get used to it.
I mean, we are
Welcome.
from the South.
Yes. Born
So-
and raised.
Yep.
Mostly, yeah.
I am.
I don't remember where you're born.
I was born in Tennessee.
I was too.
Ooh, high five.
We're in Tennessee.
Millington, right outside of a big city. I can't remember which one. I wasn't there long.
Nashville?
Probably. We'll see.
I was born
Charleston? Charleston? Nope.
Nope.
No.
Hurricane brain, sorry.
Yeah, I was born right outside of Chattanooga.
Oh, okay.
Chattanooga, that's the C word I was
I am.
looking for.
It's a lot different than the C word I'm usually thinking of.
Uh-huh.
I was on the other side of Tennessee.
Gotcha.
So, but yes, born in Tennessee, raised mostly in the South. We had a 6-month stint in Ohio because my dad was in the Marines.
won't
so we
speak of
moved
that.
around a lot, but mostly in the South. So Georgia's been my home since I was 10.
It's like,
It
sorry to
counts.
anyone from Ohio. I just had a coworker who was from Ohio, and that's all I heard about.
Yes.
I like Ohio. I did not like caring about Ohio all the time.
I liked the coworker.
Yes.
I have nothing against Ohio, but really, it can't be that good.
I mean, it's. I feel like people approached his Ohio the way they approach me in general, so I have to have some sympathy.
That's an excellent point.
Tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe.
Yes.
I.e., don't talk to Tiffany before 8 a.m. unless you want to get struck in the face with positivity.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to be a fellow morning person, too.
Yeah.
I'm very much a morning person surrounded by people who are not. So I try to wait until they've had 3 or 4 cups of coffee, but I can't contain my positivity. Doesn't work.
It should. You should work.
Alrighty, well, thank y'all for listening. I'm so happy y'all liked it.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was good.
Okay.
That, like, totally, I don't know where I was expecting it to go, but,
I was expecting it to take a dark turn.
right?
So
Yeah, but this
I
is
like this.
the thing I liked about this is this it wasn't necessarily a dark and scary story. It was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Right?
it was
I
part
love
of
it,
the
though.
questionable and odd.
You go, JB.
You go, JB. Yes.
All right, guys. Well, remember, everyone has something that they find odd. Let us tell you why it's not.
If you have any questionable topics you'd like to discuss, you can share them with us on Facebook and Instagram at The Ladies of Strange, on Twitter at Ladies of Strange, or email them to us at theladiesofstrange@gmail.com.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review, and tell us we're doing a great job. Keep it strange, lovelies.